Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss the biggest improvements coming in version 1.1 of Endfield, which is going to be released in around 2 weeks, and their impact on gameplay experience. Are they going to save Endfield or is just not enough? Well, saving might be a little too harsh. It's more like, is Endfield gonna be a niche game or is Endfield gonna join Wuthering Waves and Genshin in the mainstream category? And let's just start it off with an improvement that isn't even an improvement. They are adding an extra 10 chartered pools that you can get by reaching different milestones in the story. Not sure what those milestones are, I'm not speaking Chinese. If anyone knows the translation, please let me know down below. It is a permanent, let's call it a beginner event, and will be triggered retroactively. So if you already completed these missions, you are just gonna log in and get 10 extra pools. Nice. More character pools, nobody will dislike that. Next, they are adding 3 extra ways to obtain basic standard pools. In version 1.1, the edge space salvage is gonna get expanded with the 4th area, and the stock rate distribution will also be updated with more levels. So it's just expected to have some basic pools there. Whatever, this is just a one-time thing, not that big of a deal. However, adding the permits on the protocol pass is huge, and is completely F2P. The Originum supply is unlocked with Originum. The Battle Pass in Endfield is, in my opinion, one of the best Battle Pass across all the games. And frankly, everyone should already buy it, at least the F2P version. Now, we don't know how many basic permits are gonna be in a Battle Pass rotation, but this is gonna be the first recurring way to get them. Before, all the other ways were just a one-time thing, so it's great that they decided to make this change, especially since basic pools are way more valuable in this game. It is not just about getting the standard characters, but each pool is also giving arsenal tickets, which can then be exchanged for signature weapons. So overall, a very big change, a W change in my opinion. Then they are gonna add 30 extra AC quota the first time we get a new resonator. There are 23 characters in the game, so let's say you have all of them. That is around 700 extra quota, but what they're trying to do is they want to make it easier to get the temporary permits from the shop. With 700 extra quota, you can technically exchange for the temporary permits from the shop for up to 2 banners without pulling at all. But this is just a band-aid solution. I'm not a fan of it. They came up with this because they don't want to address the real issue. This would have been easily fixed if they only made the PT carryover. So many issues will be resolved just like that. At the very least, they could have made the permits from the shop to be permanent and usable on every banner, but no. So I'm very disappointed with this one. It's not gonna be anything that big. It's gonna help new players at the very beginning, but as they play more and more this game, as long as they don't quit, they'll just realize how small of an improvement this thing is. And by upgrading the stock exchange to level 4, in the Originum load spring location, we don't know about the others, we can exchange for a box that will give us the perfect essence for whatever weapon we want. I don't know about the others, I myself never had an issue getting the perfect substats. My issue was always getting enough materials to max these substats out, and this does not fix that. At best, it's just gonna give me another chance to get higher rolls on my substats. But hey, you never know, you might just get unlucky and you will depend on this PT at some point. And now they're making the red signals from the mobs more pronounced. And I hope the yellow ones too. They only mentioned the red ones in the live stream, but it just makes sense. This is to reduce the visual clutter and make it easier to see. I waited so long for this in Wuthering Waves. Not being able to see what's going on half the time against hologram bosses especially is misery. And now, one of my favorite improvements. When you enter protocol spaces, you are gonna regen to max your HP and energy. Starting with your ultimates ready on all your characters, the time you are gonna save and the battle experience will feel so much better. You'll no longer spend the 2 minutes just using basic attacks every other run to get your ultimate back. Finally! This should have been the case from the very beginning. There are also many other minor improvements. I'm not gonna talk about all of them. I'm only gonna speak about what I believe to be the biggest ones. Being able to construct facilities outside of the AC area for one. Before, If you ran out of electric pillars while exploring, what you had to do was you had to teleport back to your AC, then produce the electric pillars and then return all the way to where you left off. Now you can just craft them directly at the location. They made multiple improvements to the shared facility aspect of the game, but the biggest one is that you can now delete them remotely, just through the map. Never happened to me, but I know some people were getting griefed with this feature, especially in Wuling. People would place towers on the landing spots of a jump pad, making you bounce in the water and effectively blocking the entire area until the facility would expire. Even if it made for some funny clips, it was not cool. You'll just block new players, you'll just block people that just want to enjoy playing the game from exploration, and that was a very big issue. They had no way to delete them because the only way to reach that location was through the jump pad, through jumping, right? And the jumping was blocked. You would get killed if you tried to do it, so yeah, this will solve that. Missions that unlock new areas will now be tagged. You'll have a new area indicator around them. Really like this one. This is another one of my favorites. Now you know what missions to prioritize to unlock everything. In games like Genshin and Wuthering Waves, I will just skip as much as I can through the missions. Well, in Genshin is not possible, but I will just hurry the missions. I will just spam click like crazy, trying to see what missions unlock new areas, because often characters require materials from the new areas, and that really impacts the gameplay experience. Another big one is that now you can see the amount of resources left on the map directly. This is gonna save you a few seconds every time. Instead of clicking on the resource node, you can just see directly on the map. But the bigger one is that the unrigged mining spots, or the non-working ones, are also gonna be marked. Big change, especially for future areas or for new players. As the region development increases, there will be extra mining spots unlocked, and it was so annoying keeping track of them. And farming is also gonna be faster, which, okay, again, another annoying part of the game was how long it took for you to just plant some stuff. I never even bother with farming outside of maybe 1 or 2 times. Don't see the usage right now, but I can tell this could be very useful for the future, especially if they plan to make farming an integral part of the game. And finally, improvements that will be implemented in future versions, so they are not gonna be out in 1.1 yet. Quick claim for the junk, which about time. Remote quick claim for recycling stations. I don't know about you guys, but outside of the first week of the game, I never bothered to claim recycling materials anymore. What's the point? This is gonna make it easier to upgrade the junk and its cabins in the future, but they already said that there is no D-junk upgrade on the table, at least for the moment, so yeah. Overall, there are many optimizations teased, but the biggest issues, in my opinion, have not been addressed. The temporary pulls in the shop, having to spend 60 pulls on the current banner for a free multi on the next banner when the PT does not carry over. F2Ps having to do singles for maximum efficiency because again the PT does not carry over. The lack of materials for characters in order to fully max an operator. I pulled for Gilberta, I've pulled for Laevatain, I pulled for Ivan. Unfortunately, I cannot make teams for all of them. My Ivan team right now is pretty cope, and frankly with the new Tangtang and Rossi character, well, I'm gonna need also to make Rossi's team. So what am I supposed to do? Anyway, this is just my opinion and my opinion only. Please let me know what do you think about these new improvements. Are they gonna... are you happy? Are you unhappy? I'm curious about your guys' opinion also. Please let me know down below. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Good luck with your pulls and see you next time.